What is your definition of boundaries? What would you classify boundaries to be?
The boundary is really the space between space and time both. So step zero is the boundaries of space and time. Boundaries is zero. So you remember God built the universe out of circles anyways. So boundaries basically an orbit or a circle within a circle within a circle, like a cell within a meter within this and within that within a circle pond. It's like on a circle Earth. Like everything is circle, and so a circle is zero. It represents consciously like the line. Like there is no line. It's actually a circle. It's never straight. It's actually always turning. It's always going directions. And as you ascend, it becomes a corkscrew of a circle. So zero is. Hey man, this is my same speech. So zero is like it turns out that if you really want to be creative on the fly in the moment, I say this joke all the time. Like Jesus had to say, "Hey, don't turn the apostles into red wine, just the water in the glass." That'd be funny. That's a boundary. That's a boundary. That's a boundary when it comes to like sophisticated. You ever see him do it, can't you?
Oh my God!
You have to say where things stop. You have to say, and that's what the big thing is. Step zero is like you have to before you begin. You have to say where it will stop. Before it begins, you have to say where it will stop.
Oh, now I'm going to go on Grok and take the 12 disciples and have them turn into wine. Now I'm going to do a Grok video about that.
I convert to wine. I need to learn boundaries.
I don't just talk stuff and repeat stuff. I'm living this stuff.
And you can thank me for covering your astro.
Hey friends, welcome to Leading Out Loud, the spiritual shift show that soulful and sharp. I'm psychic astrologer Christopher Oteki, the sensei to Sirius Troy. Mr. Scott.
How's your week, Mr. Witegi?
Well, it's been a weird week. Actually, there's been a lot of tech stuff with Mercury retrograde. A lot of tech stuff, actually. So it's been very weird. It's been very weird.
Has it been weird? Like just more the tech stuff. So it's kind of they have the solar flares. Yesterday we saw them. At first we're like, why are they doing spraying the skies and what's going on? And then they realized they were having the solar flares. So perhaps they were spraying to block the solar flares. But we took pictures at nighttime. Yeah, we took pictures at nighttime, and it was like all red in the sky. And so we had the solar flares yesterday. I think it's supposed to be tonight too.
Huh. Well, I mean, they've been going off like crazy. I mean, apparently the sun has been all crazy compared to its normal years as far as the cycles are concerned for people who watch the sun. And the sun's a big deal because the sun is the source of our energy. So actually, it's completely legitimate that, Ra, has a huge influence on whether we live or die. And we never talk about the sun heating up and cooling off, but it does do that. And that also is what causes heating and cooling of the atmosphere, of course. But we don't calculate, science doesn't really officially talk about that. It's like we just like measure the earth from the point of the sun reaching the earth. We never really measure to see if the sun's changing itself. Affecting the earth. We change it.
Did you see the solar flares? Did you see them? No, they're kind of cool because if you took a picture at night and you enhance the exposure, it's like crazy. Yeah, we did it last night. It was kind of cool.
You live down in a place that has no street lights, right? Like you have moved away from light pollution. You're no longer in light pollution. Actually, Houston, Palm Springs, where I am now, and actually Palm Springs is far less light pollution than most cities. Actually, to its credit, so I see more stars here than I've ever seen in any city in my life.
There's a lot less sky leakage from the lights here, which is interesting. So you see the stars very bright and crisp. It's nice. So the solar flares is kind of cool. So
interesting. Yeah. So you actually saw the flares coming off the sun. What is it?
Well, it's at nighttime. It was at nighttime. You see it.
Is it solar flares or is it the aurora boreas? I don't know. I have to look it up.
The what? It's
aurora boreas.
They say that's the northern lights.
Yes. Okay. The aurora boreas. Yes. It's the
next 5 solar flare.
Okay. Well, we'll have to ask Rock about that. So overall, we're in Mercury retrograde. I think that's one of the big things happening. So, and this is a very powerful one. I have to say, one of the most powerful ones you'll probably ever have in your life, where you may rethink something incredible that you never thought you'd rethink. And so things are coming apart to some degree at a very core level for a lot of things, where and that's been my surprise, that there's issues, but not issues at the core, to
Mhm.
where everything above that is going to be having to be replaced, right, kind of thing. So stuff like that was a surprise for me.
Yeah, well, you're looking a little crooked too on camera.
Am
We
I?
need to move
I
you.
feel like yeah, I am. Well, I've
Yeah,
had
we gotta,
health issues, and yeah,
your
definitely.
your position's in retrograde right now, but
Yeah, I've been reading too much. I'm getting the notes too. I need to just sit in the middle and be
there
good.
you go. He's
Like the middle.
centered. There you go.
I know.
Now
It's
you're
bad.
centered.
I've been one
But
to not
but
sit down my whole life.
it is an interesting retrograde, because it's like, I would say, especially for this month, moving forward, there doesn't always have to be major change. I think we come every week and we think there's supposed to be some major change. Like, I think this week moving forward is really about coasting. You just allow yourself to coast. When you go fly, like, you gotta coast a little bit and not, have so much change. So I think people should, use this time now to kind of coast right now, not expect so much change.
Well, honestly, I think it's both, in the sense that, honestly, if you make a major change, it'll be coasting. Like they'll be like, your annual renewal to live there, you just coast right by that. Like when they exit the highway, it'll be calm. Actually, I find, because it's like a multi-lifetime. This is like an intersection of multi-lifetimes that we're at with Scorpio this year. Where it's like many, many, many stories are coming to a close. Many stories are opening. New
Oh, yeah,
relationships are
totally.
being forged. We're going to start. I keep getting very strong, that we're just, a lot of human beings are going to be start hooking up. Like there's a lot of soulmate situations that we're waiting for this moment,
Oh,
and like most of my clients have been waiting, and they don't believe me anymore. I'm like, no, love's coming. It's coming. Or I'm a bad astrologer. It's coming. It's one of the two, but it's been delayed because we had to. I think this is my theory. We had to finish up like our prehistoric karma and get the boogeyman off our shoulders, and that was tied to certain partnerships that we were tied to, and now we've come to full circle of that, and now suddenly I think there's going to be a lot of love. And I think the love is actually going to be people falling in love. I thought it was going to be Age of Aquarius, like hippie stuff. But I honestly think it's going to be driven by people meeting their equals and really starting to enjoy themselves, which is a reflection, on such a much deeper level, which is like the beginning of Aquarius. Aquarius is very much like Leo. Aquarius loves how individual it is. Like it really loves its individuality, and that's where it falls in
yeah.
love, right?
Yeah, for sure. But I think a lot of that, there is a result of people, finding their true voice, as we've been saying this whole year, because 2025 has been a year of movement in that direction, and movement also involves releasing that karma. Because the karma, I always say, is that anchors. People say, "What's my block?" I said, whatever you think your block is a karmic lesson. And so, especially as a reader, when I see these blocks in their future trajectory, I'm like, you're blocked because this is unlearned. And if we can try to manifest, if we have that unlearned lesson, then we'll stay stuck until we learn it. And so, I think I found a lot of people, especially my clients in particular, have done a lot of that resolving of the karma, right? And removing those blocks. And so I think that's why this is perfect time at Age of Aquarius. As you move into 2026, a lot of people will be finding that love because they found their serenity within, right? They solidified their true heart, their true voice. And I'm proud of a lot of my clients because they've done a lot of that great work, and they're starting to see, that things come to manifestation around them. And so yeah, it's definitely an exciting time, and especially during exciting times, there's a lot of chaos as we see what's going on in our world right now. A lot of chaotic stuff going on too, so that's to be expected. There's always a yin to the yang.
It's gonna get worse, I think. Honestly, I mean, I don't want to say
Well, that's
doomsday
fun.
worse, but I think it's I don't think it's doomsday worse. I don't think it's doomsday worse. I think it's just like, worse. I think people are just going to be at their wits' end, but and driven to the, sometimes like when I don't know, there's times in your life where you're like literally driven insane by something in the world, like a commercial that comes on every day after school over and over again, the same commercial. Like sometimes you're just bombarded with something. Remember that? And so you're bombarded to the point where you're just like, you can't take it anymore. You just need to get out of that situation.
By men.
Right, exactly. We're going to be, I think, bursting out of, like, the tension is going to be that we're tired of living this way as a species, feeling kind of tense all the time, right? And not knowing what's around the corner. And I think we're coming to a point where we're tired of the whole darn thing. So I'm getting at.
Mama makes whites bright like the sunshine.
Oh, no.
Mama makes Clorox like Clorox too.
I'm a little
That's an
older.
annoying commercial. I was like, oh my God, I get it.
Like, Calgon, take me away. That I'm a little older. So I've studied commercials, and it's not nice to fool with Mother Nature. And my husband, ancient Chinese secret, huh? Like that the soap commercial. Yeah, it's in my head. See how what's funny is so the pharmaceutical commercials right now, they don't stick in my head like these do. Like the commercials when I was a kid, they're in my head still. It was like brilliant creativity, honestly. from these advertising agencies that
Yeah.
like made little songs, they made little songs, and made, all kinds of branding is the word. And it's memorable. It was burned into my head. The stuff nowadays, I can't tell you one name, well, I could tell you one.
Yeah, I have definitely seen the creation, especially with music these days, has lost its like soul. I think
Yes.
a lot is just losing its soul, and so, but I think we're finding that back, right? I really think that we're finding more of that soul because of people are very fearful of AI, say AI taking the soul of things. Like, well, no, I think people will
No.
crave more of the human touch, So we'll have this AI aspect full of force, and then we'll be appreciating like human artists a lot more now, and so so I feel like it would actually give those artists like myself who've been under the radar for so long and doing it all ourselves. I think we'll start having a more of a platform. Like it'd be valuable, right? Because it's like it's so unique, it's so rare, So
I know.
that's how I
It'd
see it.
probably it'd be like selfies. Like everybody has a painting, paints in the background as a hobby. I think human beings find themselves. What Grok and all these AI bring is a lot of thinking done for us. A lot of thinking done for us, and we spend a lot of time thinking about this, about that, how to get bills paid, all this stuff we think about, right? And so this system is going to come in and think for us, and in a way, it's going to make us more intelligent, I think, because we want to stay. It's going to give us access to so much intelligence. By interacting with it, we will be learning very quickly. Also, it's going to be teaching us a little bit, or it could actually. I mean, I have mine set to teach me stuff. You can set it to different things, but overall, I think that it's going to change the playing field and open up. So the only thing that's going to be left is creativity. Is what I'm getting at. Only creativity
Totally.
and uniqueness is going to be what's left as far as like what makes you cool, because everything else will be pretty much handled by machines. It's weird. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. I totally feel that. I mean, especially with the Grok stuff, like those videos we could do here, like the intro video, like I just thought I want to do this, but I was able to do that, with AI, thankfully, because I told you some, but that mixed in with my editing skills and sound effects that I can make and sound and stuff, like the whole combination of that can make a huge creative palette. So yeah, I'm enjoying that aspect of executing what's in my head, so.
Oh, I mean, I look back to film school where we had to sketch, frame by frame our camera setups and what we're going to, the shots we're going to do. So how are you going to shoot the film? Here, where the camera says, I had to draw the damn thing. And if it were today, I would actually create the film as my film project. You basically, I think of modern film school now, which is, okay, tell the film exactly what film to make. Oh, that sucked. Make another one. Oh, that sucked. Make another one. It's like, it's going to be, and then the one that they make in school is releasable. Because it's so good right now. It's so good, much more than I thought it would be at this stage, as far as the ability for it to like change reality and just, put two people like him and I right now on camera in ancient Greece. Like, boom, we're there, and we're dressed in apparel, and like there's people moving around, and there's extras, and there's like free thinking robots in the background that are like doing something and creating like a community out of a picture. It's really imaginative in that sense, but it's not imaginative. It's actually just remember it's done, I guess. But the point is, you're right. You dream it, you can actually see it.
Yeah, but the one thing I still will not use AI for is music, because I mean I play instruments, I write, right, and it's just easy for me to throw it down, So, and I feel like I don't want something taking my creative process out, So like when I release music, I'm to let them know, like, yeah, there's no AI done here. But I think it's obvious when you hear an AI voice singing, can't do what a real vocalist really can do, and you could tell, and it's convincing, but it's like you can tell, in that sense. So, but I was fearing that for a while. And I was just like, I got to embrace that. That's part of what it is, but people still can tell. And the artists that actually have soul will shine brighter. And so, so I think that we all should kind of embrace it and use it. And,
you can tell there's no soul in it. You can tell there's no soul in it. It's weird because how you can tell there's no soul in a rock. It's weird, but you're interacting with this intelligent thing and you can tell it's not real. It's a weird sense that we have as humans.
It sounds programmed, but and I think that's a lot of what because we're all evolving, like I've said before. So therefore, we're becoming more intuitive, we're becoming more psychic, so we can read these things a lot better than probably we could 10 years ago. So yeah, as we're evolving, we are becoming more intuitive, more conscious of these things, so we can easily decipher that moving forward. And a lot of people are having a hard time.
The same thought. The psychic awareness and the powers that be in our life are going to be spreading wide for people who want to be aware of them. And so that's actually competing with AI. Like it's opening up new doors that AI hasn't touched. So as we are having, technology encroach upon what we have known, we become aware of the unknown, which is today's topic. We become aware of the unknown, and suddenly there's a whole new race that AI didn't even set out to beat because it didn't exist or whatever. So I think that's the about creation. As soon as you think in a system that God's created, if you think you've figured it out, You obviously have it. You don't realize you're just in one system. It's all tied. There's limits to everything.
Well, yeah, of course. I like limitations of things. I find more of my intellect through limitation. I remember like when I wanted to do music and I was like doing it in my home, like I was like taking the limitation, like let's see how I can be creative and create music. And so I would take things apart, and I found more of my creativity being limited with the, equipment that I had, the technology that I had to create. And then I was doing scores from home for networks, major networks,
Wow,
so
that's crazy.
I banked on the limitation, right? I banked on
Right.
that. And so people are thinking it's like, oh my God, it sounds like we call orchestral mock-ups. But I was able to do that because of my creativity of how I know it should sound, so.
Right. But doesn't
So
it push you to the next level, like as an artist? Like now,
oh, totally.
you're being pushed. Like, and humans, that's what I'm saying. Humans will outshine because we have this magic source, the spark that I don't think AI has access to.
100%.
Creation, it is.
Yes, ma'am. So we have some headlines we're looking back on, I'd say, for this
We're
year.
gonna do that. We're gonna do that. Okay. All
Because that's
right.
next.
So, yeah, we can do it. Well, I thought we just agreed it wasn't gonna work. But overall, I mean, the headlines of the year. I mean, just looking at these, I guess we're looking from a different perspective than this one. As far as re-examination, it's like look at these in the sense of how they have, affected human beings' emotions. Let's just do that. That'd be a good exercise for today. So it's like because that's honestly the issue here. So Trump's inauguration, sworn in the 47th president on January 2025. Actually, that I know it seemed I didn't feel an emotional wave with that. Did you? Did you feel an emotional wave with that?
Closer. We got to pull you in a little bit more. We got to pull you centered more. You're falling off the camera. Look, to me,
Sorry.
to me, Trump's inauguration, it was just the pinnacle of change for people, right? And so I know, as we talked about in Trump's astrology, he's a disruptor, right? And so I knew things, in order for things to break through, things have to kind of break down, and Trump is that person that's utilized to break things down. And so, and it's brought a lot of fragmentation that we need. And so I knew this is the antithesis of that change. I knew this is part of our collective, challenge to get ourselves to start to understand what we want as a collective. So in order for us to become more unified, we got to separate a little bit too. And that's what's been happening. And I know Trump has been, of course, fueling this, but I also understand that's because it's part of our evolution. And I understand at the end of the day, it's not Armageddon, but all these issues that we're being pressed with because of his, presidency has making people understand more about empathy. They're thinking about, is this really best for all people? And some are being exposed how they have lack of empathy. So, it's part of the process to expose that dichotomy so we can somehow bring it all together. So I'm seeing a lot of people who are realizing they were making decisions that were not based on empathy, and feeling regretful and remorseful. And some are realizing they want to push more of that empathy. So I think it's, in the long run, it's the best for us, in that sense. It's a blessing in disguise, I would say.
Look, it is a blessing in disguise because, well, then who do you want to play the bad guy? Because, guys, there's always a bad guy.
Has to be.
That's the thing. It's like the humans are like, who's the bad guy? Guys, we always have a bad guy in the story. That's the way we always program ourselves. We always do it. And so who do you want to play? Who would you rather have be Mel Brooks? Like, who plays that guy? And it was Donald Trump. We hate him. It's like, well, you're going to hate someone, right? Like, there's always a bad guy. And what the bad guy is, honestly, so simply, is like, it is the stuff you hate in yourself. It's the stuff you hate in yourself that makes you hate others. What you hate in other people is what you hate in yourself. That's what it is. You're seeing stuff that you don't want to even think about. And I think it's because it's past life. You're like, you're that horrible in another life. So I don't think you were that horrible in this life. That's why humans are confused about it. But what they're really mad at is they cannot stand to see themselves like that and see themselves. And so I think everyone has, the ones who are mad have been one, right? Because you don't get mad unless you have like a personal tie to it.
What I always say, what we react to, we relate to. So, you're relating to some degree on that unresolved if there's a negative reaction to it, know. And so, and I think that the things, even people who love things, they relate. They also have that reflection too. And so, it is a mirror. And I always tell people who are just upset to trying to get out of the matrix. And I always said before that we're all participants of the results of this matrix. We've all created this both consciously and subconsciously. And everything we're pressed with is all our unresolved from past incarnations that are manifest in the collective too. Yep. So we've all created this experience, and so if you don't like it, change yourself to be okay to adjust with it. And so I was it was bombarding, like in the New Age communities, about escaping the matrix, how to like evolve out of the matrix. Like, oh my gosh, we're not here to like run away from it. We're here to grasp it, and then convert. And so, and I think Trump's disrupting energy has brought that part of people's consciousness to the forefront now.
Look, you guys, I was going crazy with infection under our skin, with Clinton, with the Bushes, like with Obama. There was all infectious disease presidents. I'm sorry, there's a lot of dark stuff growing underneath all those White Houses, and that's been the way it's always been. Honestly, America, like we're actually every White House is dirty. It turns out, like starting out, like if we just take a step back and go, this is us. Period. Not that I'm making an excuse for him. I mean, he's just the latest. For me, I'm just like, okay, let's just see it all, get it out, let's get it out. Like my attitude is like, let's just look at all this stuff and address it in our lives.
Yeah.
He forces it. That's his role. I agree. Trump now imposes. Okay, Trump imposes widespread tariff policy on foreign countries. Policy covered virtually all countries via baseline tariff, and higher tariff treatment was imposed on some 60 to 90 countries. Is it bad to put a tax on other people? I feel like a judgment, some sort of a value underneath this paragraph in this headline that is not spoken. Actually, ironically, it's not being spoken. It's being hidden, some hidden agenda here. Not agenda, but just hidden meanings. Like, is it bad to put a tariff on another country? Is it?
I don't know if it's bad. It's negotiation, but we're the people don't pay for it. And so for me, this tactic of tariff was just kind of, just to show control and dominance. And that didn't really work out well. He's like, I'm going to show I have the control. And it didn't work out because even with China, we ended up going back to the deal we initially had. And so it's not like there was any progression there. So I think that's someone who's trying to assert their dominance with the terrorist aspect of that, and so I think it's funny. He's going around Trump saying, oh, we're going to give $2,000 to most Americans for, a tax or tariff, check relief or something of that nature. I'm like,
yeah.
Well,
Here's what I see tariffs.
Yeah.
Well, tariffs paid for everything in the country for the first 150, almost 200 years. There were no income taxes whatsoever. There was no taxes on any of your paychecks or your property or anything. We lived off of the taxes that we taxed other countries. And so, yeah, it makes your cost of your product go up, but you have no taxes. So you're paying the tax to the things you buy. That's the brilliance of tariff. I mean, the brilliance of tariff is you're paying the tax to the things you buy, which means it's elective. It's elective. For the most part. I mean, there's stuff, toilet paper, stuff like that, but that ought to be local anyways. Those things that we need, they shouldn't be across the world and be imported. We know that we have to be more local to be more kind to the environment. So, we're learning in every direction. But I just think tariffs themselves, if tariffs can pay the bills and we can end the income tax, yes.
Of course. But that's, again, we were using tariffs effectively back then. Now with modern politics, now everything's used as kind of a tool.
Yeah, it could be a weapon. I don't know. I'm actually arguing the principle of just the country, tariffs. I don't know his motives. I don't know. I haven't been watching him.
But I agree. But I'm saying I agree with you on if it's used properly, yeah, we don't necessarily need to be taxed on income. I agree. We should. I mean, I honestly, even though I pay income tax, like it feels so unethical to me in that sense. Like we pay sales tax, and and so I think that we can choose, or if the income tax was a lot lower, so it's a lot. So
my attitude is like, wait, you're the government. You print the fucking money. Why are we broke? We print the money. You mean we haven't figured out how to be rich and print the money? What the fuck? How dumb are we in this modern era? We're not dumb. We're being imposed on economic policies that keep people in a certain, control. And honestly, the reason why tariffs are bad or being said bad is because the people who are globalists want free trade. They want to be able to spring products across borders without any problems and not have to clear with anybody. They want just complete free trade because a lot of stuff goes underneath the seams. You have that too. So it's like because not being regulated looked at. But the point is, like, I think that's the whole other argument. Not that I'm pro what he's doing, but I do think that at the end of the day, it keeps things a bit more clean. Was that right at the moment?
Yeah, I just modern day politics is really all about it's about control and power and dominance at this point.
I agree.
The system, because I'm starting to say the system is we have a good system. We really do have a good system. It's just been used in a way that's not good. And so we have to be clear to say, okay, well, how can we fill in these gaps of these loopholes in the system to where people don't take advantage of this and end up, in the position we're now where these corporations are ruling everything and paying less in taxes than me, right? And so these are things I think that we're waking up to kind of, to fix the system, because back in the day, our founding fathers made a brilliant system. A legal system was brilliant.
Oh, God, it's made it this long. One Pluto rotation. Yeah, I mean, the fact that it's gone this long is amazing. There's other countries that have gone farther apparently in history, but the point is that it's damn good. And I think there are things I just didn't know about. The biggest thing I always say is I've seen this for a long time. I keep saying it, but I see another constitutional convention in our lifetime. I think we're going to meet over the Constitution again, and we're going to amend it. For the first time in a long time. I think you and I, Gen X, is going to be the ones that really push for that because they're all about liberty and justice, the Pluto and Libra, the generation. And I think one of the things that has to address is one, corporations. They do not have any rights, period. There's no rights to a corporation. You're a fucking business. You get no rights. No rights. So it's like, why would you get rights? My wagon should have rights too while you're at it, my bicycle. It's like, well, what? They're inanimate objects. So we've allowed that to happen, and that's a big one. And I think that we need a fourth branch of government that does nothing but look at the government. Like sort of like a self-realization branch of self-realization. Maybe that's very Age of Aquarium, but it's kind of it. Like, I think we need to figure out who we are and quit pretending we don't know that Nancy Pelosi is doing this. Let's quit pretending. Let's have actually someone of the people look at them and go, "What the fuck are you doing?" Kind of thing. Like, not play the game, because right now the game is played by the journalists, and then it's pumped into TVs, and then people think that's the way it goes. They just assume it's like reality TV. And what's embarrassing is that I think we watch so much reality TV. Americans just can't not. We just see through all of it now. It's like bad reality TV we're getting. It's not only getting reality TV, but bad. Like, Kardashians are much better, kind of thing.
I believe the politics has reality TV right now. I think they're, media's taking advantage of that too, right? Because when you watch these like Congress hearings and Senate hearings, it's like, is this like Jerry Springer? It's really very interesting how it's become like a reality show too when it comes to our politics. So, and I think that's also they're feeding that. They're definitely gaslighting us with a lot of that stuff too.
Every image you have, guys, every image you see on television is created to look like that.
But we need a new generation of people. I just feel like we need a new generation of people. We need term limits. Like, we need people who are like in their 30s, 40s, 50s, not 60s, 70s, and 80s now. And so we need people who are going into politics who are invested in their future because they're young enough to want to experience it.
Right.
These people sitting around 70, 80 years old, they don't care. They don't care. They're trying to check that box and gold medal that they were president and and try to piss on their territory. But the younger ones are coming in because it's always going to affect them too. So we need younger people. We need new generations in politics.
The original vision of the forefathers was that actually the House of Representatives was going to be young ones, and the senators would be the older ones. And actually, it was a older kind of thought in the original Congress. Of course, the American people voted for what they wanted, and so it is what it is. But they had the idea there, the same that you're saying, that they wanted different generations. Interesting. Good thought too. Well, it's interesting because look, we just illustrated what I said in the beginning of the show, which is that people in this retrograde are looking at things at a very core issue and realizing that we have a core issue, and it's not just going to be one solution anymore, that there's a core problem that means everything from that problem has to all redesign all the way up. That's where we're at. We're at this point where we are seeing the flaws. Scorpio allows you to see the cracks. You can't get, Scorpio, yeah, you in front of a Scorpio and they've got like something in your teeth, they won't fucking let you rest. They'll just keep looking at it and bring attention to the fact there's something in your teeth because they can't knock it out of their awareness. So I think you're going to see a lot of that kind of feeling happening. And I also think that again, to what I said in the beginning, I think that the love that I feel in the Age of Aquarius is people in love. I actually don't think it's just like, Kumbaya, it feels, which is what I was imagining, but I always psychically felt, did psychically feel in the future, like just warm glow. Did you? I mean, have you consistently felt into the future?
Well, yeah, of course. Right. Well, of course, yeah. I mean, and love. I think people always hear love. They think it's like romantic. I think that love connections also comes with friendships, community.
I agree.
No,
I agree.
Just huge, and just feel within myself, but a lot of other people, huge resurrection of wanting to do something charitable. And do something. I think some food drive that was going on for people like who, when SNAP benefits cut out, and there was like people just came with a lot of food, farmers came with a lot of food, feeding people, and they all showed up, and I'm like, see, that's amazing. That's people saying like we want to work for our community. So there's a lot of that love I feel that's resurrecting. So that'll convert into romantic love and friendship love and love with family and all that stuff too.
It's all love. I mean, I was talking romantic love in the beginning because the romantic love story is ready for no change. Men and women unhappy. It's not working, for the most part. Very rarely does it work, where they're really happy and they're living, no one's, really moving in together very much, so to speak. Like the general trend is not to get married. The general trend is, all these things. Not that I think it has to be, but it's like we're losing maybe relationship skills or maybe avoiding relationship skills. And it's like, I feel like we're going to have to learn how to, interact with each other more, not less. Even apps and dating, it's like, it's all an app. You find the app, you find the person, you look it up, search, connect them. And then they might meet in person almost immediately. It's like ordering a person off of the menu of McDonald's. Like it is. I mean, it's becoming that way. DoorDash and everything. Like, no, it is. People are just going on, and that's what Tinder is. You're sitting there just shopping, And there's
You
the
know, but I
thrill of the
feel a lot of people.
gamification of the, you know?
I hear a lot of people just they're sick of it. Like we've had
Right.
meetings dating from like AOL days, AOL
Mhm.
chat rooms. That's when we started, like back in the late
Oh, yeah.
'90s. You know,
Yeah. Oh,
on
yeah.
AOL. And so that's where we started. And so people, I can't tell how many people say I don't want to go online, or I don't want to use the apps, and I just don't want to meet people. I'm like, you don't have to. Like it's one avenue. And so I would say just increase your odds of how you're meeting people. But a lot of people are over that actually. You know,
Yeah.
and I find a
Yeah.
lot of people wanted to have other ways of meeting people. You know,
Oh, I made a prediction.
person.
I think you're gonna have get together apps. I think what's gonna happen is technology is now gonna be assisting your daily life. You're not gonna leave your daily life to live in technology. So we've always lived
Right.
in technology. Now we're gonna actually just have it as a little piece on the side of us. You have the access to
Right.
the entire, the entire world's, with Grok and the others, you have access to all the intelligence in the entire world on your phone in a park. But it might be to identify a plant species. It's not to play a video game. You know what I mean? It's that's where it's changing. It's becoming an actual practical tool, I think, for the most part. And I think people crave people. They're out of it. They want to be. I think you're gonna find new societies. And I think societies will be under apps. I think people are gonna like join app societies. Because you might
When
look
people
like,
have to, yeah, and people have to understand like what they're getting to with the apps. They just think everybody's a match for them. It's like first you have to understand the ratios. You have a crap load of people who are just fake and using fake pictures. You have those people who are catfish. Then you have a group of people who are on there just for attention and that's it, and really don't want anything. And then you have people on there who are actually in relationships. You have that ratio. They have a ratio of people who are just cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs and needy and desperate. And then you have people who are just on there who are maybe like a small percentage of that people are people who are genuine. So you have to understand what you're up against when you're on these dating hacks, you know. So
well,
when
yeah.
people think of that way, they don't think every person is a match, even though they're matching. It's like you have to question: is it real? Is it catfish? Are they already in a relationship? Are they crazy? So
Yeah.
when we allow ourselves to let things be more natural or organic, we have less of that complication of meeting people. Because everybody I've met in my life, I just bumped into because I was always just kind of go where I wanted to go, feel my vibe, and I wasn't really into the online thing.
Well, I mean, before online, there was intuition. People just, got the gut idea to go to a concert, and then they met their girlfriend in 5 years, and then it's like the universe networks you anyways. Whether you have a network on top of the network of the universe, it doesn't matter. It's always working, and it continues to work. You're brought to it. I'm always brought to the people I'm meant to meet, and I often quite think because I'll hear the story of like how we've been maybe in each other's orbits for a while. Like you can see where the universe is trying to find a way to get us to hang out or something, and then lightning strikes, you meet that person, you're like, "What? You were there that year? Oh, you were there that year too?" Like, oh, this overlap is really interesting. You can kind of see how it works. But I think it's time for a commercial break. We are ready at half hour.
I was sending you signals. I was like
I know,
saying,
I got it.
can we?
I know. Yeah, that you have to go to the bathroom. I feel it. I was kidding.
Let's roll 'em, Morgan.
Yeah, let's roll.
You started your business for freedom, but somewhere along the way, it turned into chaos. You're trying to fit your unique vision into someone else's blueprint, and it's leaving you feeling overwhelmed and second-guessing your every move. That's exactly why we created From Chaos to Clarity, your 12-week live business intensive. We give you the courage to claim your voice, the clarity to build your unique framework, and the conviction to lead your business your way. You'll get live power hours to hone your strategy and weekly accountability sprints to make sure the work actually gets done. Stop following, start building. You don't need to do it all alone.
Did you know that discordant energies such as illness, trauma, violence, and depression can linger on a property for hundreds of years, going all the way back to the very beginning of that parcel of land? This can also happen with family heirlooms, antiques, or previously owned furniture. If you've been feeling blocked in life, more ill than usual, or just uncomfortable in your home, your space could be holding on to residual energies. Refresh My Property can help clear these energies remotely. Scan the QR code to get your free phone consultation today and begin clearing your space and your life.
Step Astrology is the key to unlocking your past, your purpose, and your heart. Are you ready to understand yourself better than ever before? Enlightened edutainment awaits inside the Sirius Joy Vault. Subscribers receive in-depth insight into the planetary energies with daily texts, pep talks, and more, personalized to your unique blueprint. Subscribe now for only $3.99 your first month at SeriousJoy.com.
Oh, is that you? No. Whose voice is that? To SeriousJoy.com sitcom overlay. I can't hear you now at all.
It's because I muted. No, that wasn't me. No, in that commercial.
No.
No.
It sounded like I was like, did we sample his voice? Like what? I don't know who that was, but yeah, we're gonna mix the sound correctly in our commercials. It's going soon, guys. We're working on it. The AI is working on it anyways, but
Fine, me.
yeah. What's that?
So we're talking about masking the unspoken. That's our topic. Someone's asking what our topic is. That's our topic for today.
Yeah. We've been hinting at it.
And we wear a lot of different masks, so to speak. We play a lot of different roles, and sometimes I think we tend more to the mask that we're wearing versus ourselves a lot of times. But I will let you start off with this question. What are the common masks that we wear?
Mommy and daddy masks. I can feel like shit. My kid runs in and I'm like, "Hi, son. How you doing? Everything's fine? Okay. You want to have fun?" And then I'm like back to like, "Right, you motherfucker." So that's a mask. That's a big fucking mask. I like masks though. I mean, I think they're all about drama. I like drama. So I'm aware of my mask and I indulge in them. Personally, that's the Leo rising.
Well, okay. So give me an example like a mask that you would put on wear, and like, what would you classify that to be? A persona?
It's a habit. It's a performance. It's a performance level. It's like we all perform. We all love to perform. That's one thing. Humans love to perform. So we got to just come out of the closet and be like, we're actors. We all want to be actors. Every one of us wants to be an actor. And so I just think we need to encourage ourselves to be more dramatic and fun and free and take away any kind of stigma of like holding yourself back. And that could be maybe all the age of Aquarius stuff because people just want to shine. If you look at a baby, it just wants to shine. It doesn't really want your attention, but it's really excited they got it. It's really excited they got it, but he didn't try. Sometimes you do. It's just the heart wants to shine. It's time to shine that way. Yeah.
And I think a lot of people put on like a professional mask as far as like what they do with their job. They have a certain, persona with their job, and they're this person, and then when we're not at work, they're a completely different person. Especially social media has people wearing a lot of different masks just to present a certain image to people, and that's why there's a lot of inauthenticity on social media because people are trying to convey a specific mode or vibe, and it's not really them to get whatever they want, followers, likes, business.
It's always been that way. I mean. We keep, it's not a big deal on the internet, but if you went to Howdy Hamburgers and you went down to the bathroom, you would see there's President Howie right there, the original Howie founder. And it's like, you see the whole, line of people who are responding. No, I'm just saying it's always a reputation at stake. I'm saying? It's always been that. We've always played that game where we post pictures of ourselves and the restaurant does or this does, or, been in business since 500 years. We always sell to ourselves. It doesn't matter if it's on the internet or not. That's what I'm saying. As humans.
Yeah. I'm just stuck on Howie Burgers. What did you say the place is called?
I know, but I'm hungry.
I'm thinking I have to go for a burger actually right now. But yeah. But even a lot of people wear spiritual masks. And I find a lot of that with religion, right? They go to their church, they put their Christian mask on, and then they're, out in the wild cursing people off. And it's funny because a friend of mine is on a reality show. And so, and she's well known. And so some woman had emailed her saying, basically she should take her life and, off herself. Yeah. Saying you're horrible, like all this negative stuff. And guess what? This woman works for mental health and recovery.
Believe it.
So I'm like, she has a mask where she's helping people recover, but behind the scenes, she's telling people to go, off themselves. And so of course she exposed that and she's basically losing her job. But I'm saying, so there's a lot of people I find that are in their professional fields or in their spiritual fields and they're doing the presenting and behind the scenes their life, they're completely a different person than what they're conveying in that sense.
We're playing the role. I mean, I think we play roles. It's funny. We just let ourselves play the role. I mean, when you were a waitress or a waiter, you play a role. I'm going to jack in the box. It's like there's all these roles we play, commercial roles and things. And so we just, I think, have made it okay to like be that when you're at work, or whatever.
Now, is it a role or is it a mask? Because, I feel like when people are using the masks, right, they're really kind of like hiding what's really truly within to convey something completely different.
Well, sure, of course. I mean, I've got stuff I'm hiding right now. You know what I mean? Like,
but
it's not apparent. It's not appropriate. Sometimes.
But I think
it's not appropriate. Okay.
But I think that if we understand, like, we don't need to be wearing masks, we can actually adopt a specific role, like we were saying, then we could bring ourselves to whatever dynamic that we're in and expressing, And so I think that's what really being authentic really is, in that sense.
I
But
think
yeah,
that's where archetypal, his the model of archetypal humanitarian consciousness, collective consciousness being archetypal. So in other words, we identify with the archetype of the hero. The horoscopes are all archetypes, but you also have archetypes within the general culture, which are like hero, bad guy, blah, blah, blah. And the different aspects that support all those stories and stuff. And by living by an archetype, it's actually smarter in the sense of, because you can just dismiss it as you were just playing that archetype. You're just playing that role. And it's a necessary role to get to the next role, to understand who you're meant to be, versus this always right or wrong, hiding or not hiding. I don't know. I have to hide some stuff. I mean, it's just not appropriate. So is that a mask? Everyone has a mask that's like, look, someone knocks on your door at fucking 7 a.m. There's a mask on. Like, hello, you're in a robe or whatever. You play like some role. I mean, you're actually very original. I mean, I think that's what Aquarius is. Aquarius is and Scorpios too. Although Scorpios will hide. They'll hide, but they're under a mask. They'll hide under that mask. You don't know what's going on there. Aquarius, you see everything going on. It's WYSIWYG. What you see is what you're getting.
that's true. And that's why, like, when I think about this topic, I'm like, I have roles, but I'm authentic in every role that I do. Like, I don't have to like amp up anything.
Well,
I feel
you
like
have this awareness of who you are.
do.
Yeah. You really know yourself much better than most people know themselves. I mean, that's the time you've taken on Earth, is to get to know yourself really well. And I think many of us didn't ourselves, because we were out trying to, because we were convinced that, the real pursuit was in the world and not in the hearts of men. Like, so that was, that's that reality, it's an interesting moment. Yeah.
Well, yeah, but a lot of people will use these masks to pacify truth within themselves. So, like, people who are like gay and they're in the closets, like, kind of put on a mask that they're straight, right? And they have that just to withhold the truth, so they convey. And so they're hiding behind a lot of that. So, and so the unspoken truth, in that sense, always shows up, of course, with tension, resentment, anxiety, disconnection. And so, those masks can only, like we say, the mask falls with a thud, because it can only last so long until the truth is starting to manifest into, like we said, tension, resentment, all those physical emotions. Because when we get pushed to that limit and then we don't acknowledge that, then we explode. We have a breakdown. We're forced, to look at the truth. So, yeah, if people are using their masks to pacify and to repress the truth, these things happen.
Absolutely.
Things.
Yep. But I think what happens is, we don't have to worry about it, because there does come a point where you just get sick of it. You really just grow out of it. You're just like, oh, I'm so tired of pretending, who I'm not. You reach this just angst point, I think, as a human. At least I have, and some of my clients. You just reach a point where you can't stand to look at yourself anymore. You just got to be honest, and open. And honestly, for our generation, at least my public, the people who watch me, they were giving everything away and helping people all the time, and not paying attention to themselves. And so for them to hear that they can put themselves first is a nice exhale. Like, oh, thank God.
Yeah, and that's another mask that people do. Like, I'm going to be the role doing everything for everybody else, to actually distract themselves from seeing what they need to do with themselves, like you said. So yeah, that's another mask. People like help too much. They care too much. They're hands on too much with everybody else. It's like, you might want to take that mask off and look what are you suppressing the truth on about yourself, that everybody else has to be the focus. So that's a very true point there as well. As far as people just doing too much for everybody else is another mask.
If you want to, I know. Masking insinuates that I, had precognitive knowledge of having something I want to hide, or a character I want to play, and that's what it is. I do think we are just playing character, and we all know it.
Yeah.
I switch in a vibe around like my family. I'm a different person. I can't help it. Like, I become someone different around those people, because they bring out different sides of me and make parts of me defensive and hide. Like, it all changes the formula with everybody. Very rarely can I just be myself. Like today, here on this show, I can be myself. I can, but that's thanks to you in many ways, because I'm just where I'm, that's thanks to you in many ways, honestly, because otherwise I can't hold that space. That's where friends are holding space for other friends, Yeah. You're holding space.
But I think that if we understand whatever mass that we're attracted to is also telling about a lot of ourselves too, and I think I think that we should utilize that and say, okay, I have this mask. If we be objective enough to understand what mask we're wearing, say, let me actually develop that within myself, so it can actually be a true essence or expression that's coming from the truth of myself. Then I feel like we'll realize and recognize how more dynamical we really are or can be. Because I see so many people, they don't understand how, those of us who do multiple things, right?
Right.
I think when I first started my career as being a psychic medium, like, but I thought you were a composer. I'm like, but I'm a psychic medium too. But they're like, it was confusing them. Like, well, which one is it? I'm like, it's all the above, So, and I think a lot of us has to understand that, we can take these masks and convert them into actual dynamics of our character and who we choose to be.
Yeah.
And I think for a lot of people, it's like so two dimensional. Like they can't think I do it all, and in that sense, when it comes to my music, and it's like, well, how do you do that? It's like, well, I understand the different roles I can play, and we all have that ability.
I think that's a part of human development. I just think humans go through that period where they all try to be the same, and they all try to fit in boxes, and they're all sort of affirmed by each other. But I think after you start to realize that you are autonomous and that you are sovereign, as Mary Magdalene likes to say nowadays, and then that sovereign voice, you can create the reality in life you want. And it's right there under our feet, really. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm a real question mark as far as it feels right here. And when I say right here, I mean, the world's starting to understand we go on, we live again. And that means that you can calm down. You're going to get as many lifetimes as you want. You don't have to kill somebody. You can get as many lifetimes as you want. Like the repercussion of having a different belief structure about afterlife is profound as far as what it does. And we look at like organized religion and the things that had us worried about, yes, it was making things worse. Right. So obviously, okay. Talk about mass.
No, well, yeah. And so you agree about being spiritual and being incarnated. Like this incarnation is a mask. We're masking our soul with this physical persona. True. So if we can find the benefits of what mask that we're wearing and actually make it blend and integrate with ourselves, we expand, and that's what I've been working on my whole life, actually, is that I'm like, I want to play that role, but I actually want to be that role. And so I would become it. I'd immerse with it, because of my passion for it. And so people always say, what is stopping me from, taking that mask and turning it into an actual true version of myself? And I say passion. The only thing that's going to prevent you or push you forward into that synchronicity, or being in sync with your quote unquote mask and turning it into who you really want. Because I feel like anything we're attracted to, deep down inside, we want it. If we want something, we know it's part of us, right? Because that's what a desire is. It's your soul saying, I relate, that's me, So I think we look at it that way. Yeah.
Life's about that. This is me. I think everything in life is exploring who you are. That's all life is to see who you are, really. But I think that when you can be yourself, truly yourself, there's an elation there that you don't have anywhere else in your life. That elation of being yourself and enjoying yourself for who you are, like God enjoying God for who He is or who she is. It's like we're just like, wow. It's when you actually impress yourself. You're like, wow. That moment of impressing yourself, that moment of growing and being in your heart, enjoying the fact that you just became, bigger. That really is what I think drives life. And really underneath everything, that's what we want. And so we have to have a culture that is encouraging you to explore yourself. It's not bad. Who cares if I try the mask? I want to try it on before I do it. That's the other thing. I'm American. I want to try it on. I don't want to have to commit to something that I haven't tried. So in a way, it also gives us this ability to like role play.
Well, yeah, but the soul's purpose is to continue to expand. Like in spirit reality, everything's ever changing, right? There's no staticness, right? And so if we're allowing our souls to expand, then the physical expression will be happiness, contentment, success, right? But if we keep depression is when we have no movement. The soul's not moving. We're actually confining the soul through limitations, so it gets depressed. And so what do we do when we get depressed? We naturally go into fetal position, right? Because we know naturally depression is an act where we have to go back within ourselves and stop suppressing ourselves so we can then bring it out and express it and continue to expand, which is what love is. Love is expansion.
We have been, we've deliberately been not telling people how to manage their emotions. There's definitely a conspiracy here because honestly, it's not that hard to be mature. And I'm not saying that you swallow it and all this stuff. I'm saying our feelings are like Play-Doh. They're like energetic Play-Doh. You have to work them. You have to set them. You have to give them boundaries. They have to go to bed on time. They just need this. They need like to be worked, like a massage, working a body. Emotions have to be massaged. They have to be massaged all the time. It's just something you do. And we all catch ourselves going off in directions we don't want. And we're like, whoa, 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 whoa. Like we all, no matter who we are, find ourselves, whoa, whoa, whoa. It's like bringing a fish, like, come on back with that anger. I don't like that either. But we're learning. But the tools are very simple. Honestly, guys, it's like, I don't even think therapy, really therapy. It's like, you're angry right now. Okay, so what are you going to do about it? Well, I'm going to tell her, no. Right now you're angry. You're like living in a boiling water in your skin. What are you going to do right now? It's like, well, I'm going to tell her, no. Right now, she's not here. Like whoever's not here. You have to come down right here on your own, kiddo. You can't have it rely on something going right for you in the world. You have to be able to calm your body down right now. And it's like, you're telling me you have no clue on how to do that? Really? You have no clue?
And we have to look at his passing thoughts, like, and this might sound stupid as an analogy, it just came to my mind, but just cars just that are moving, and you wouldn't just jump in a random car and just go with it and say, yeah, just go. I'm going to go wherever you go. We shouldn't just hop onto any thought that comes in too. I like to be to a point where I'm objective. I can watch and observe my thoughts. That's what meditation is useful for. So then realize, where'd that thought come from? Is there something within me that's actually attracting that thought, or is it just random? And then I start doing the work within myself to say, okay, there's a reason why I might be fearful about this, which is why this negative thought came in. And so I'm finding what's actually attracting the thoughts in instead of hopping on and just responding to it. A lot of people, if they have a thought, but I feel this, and they just feel like they have to act on it, like you're saying. It's like, no, we got to nurture it. We got to direct it. We got to control it. And we don't just have to go fly with it just because we feel something either. And I always said the formula is like, we focus, then the focus manifests a thought, and then thought manifests a feeling and emotion, and then we manifest action from there. We need to get a grasp on what the hell are we focusing on or not focusing on.
That's the step system, though. I mean, I will say that's the step system. There's a system that we discovered. If you follow the system, it'll build things perfectly. It'll build consciousness perfectly. So conscious only supports consciousness and isn't distracted. And it's not mine. I just channeled it. But I think that's my point. We never have had an instruction manual on how to run this fucking thing called a human. And we've been real bad. I mean, the manuals we come out with have been bad, shitty. I mean, horrible. What Sigmund Freud told us about the human psyche, you can never really say that's something that's stupid for a video game. Like a video game, you gotta explain how it all works. But that's like the school psychology is like, well, it's like, no, we don't. So we've been given a lot of like foggy tools to like look at ourselves, and the point is it's very infectious. There comes a point where people, like I said, they outgrow it anyways. You can sit there and try to stop consciousness, but eventually it will go, wait a second, what's that guy doing with mom? Like it'll just suddenly, it will just suddenly become true. You'll see the pattern. You will see the pattern over time eventually. That's very slow grow, but you can learn to look for the pattern, and then it goes faster.
We have to understand, but we have to understand, because what I was talking about psychology, we can't abandon psychology because we're spiritual. Like, you understand the mechanism of our minds, right? Is where we can really understand how we're truly standing and performing in life. So
we don't. That's the thing. It's like we really don't.
What I'm saying is, like, when we actually, as spiritual beings, like, really understand the structure of psychology too, in conjunction, we're powerful as far as knowing more about ourselves and how we are ticking or not ticking, and where is it coming from, where it's deriving from, And so I think when we have that spiritual mask on, we have to understand, well, we also can't abandon our psychology either. That's something that's built in within us as well. And I would say my goal, my tagline is aligning the mind with the soul. That's what my mission is at the work that I do.
I love it. I'm on board with it too. I mean, mine's helping have the map. I feel that astrology is the map of human consciousness. I don't think it's the same in another planetary system. I think they have a different system. But there are systems, and God kind of builds consciousness around orbiting objects, and heavy mass creates certain waves. And I think it creates an awareness of being alive, like a signal of television, is what consciousness really is. And I do think it can be understood and mastered. And I think we're going to do a lot of it, in this lifetime. It's already happening. It's serious story. I mean, we really, honestly. Yep. You don't realize how much you trip over silly things in your life every day. You just don't realize it until you have a service like ours. It'll be like, hey, this might happen today. And they're like, huh. They hadn't even thought about looking for that in the day. And then, of course, they find it. And it's like, And so you start to see, you're being run by something else than what you think you are. You're allowing ourselves to be run by habits and responses. And because we don't understand the machine of consciousness, we don't understand how it works. And we're not, going, and we're not applying it. Consciously and deliberately. Imagine if you understood how to build the perfect human, and then you all put your resources into doing it. It's like we've never been on the winning side of our winning, as a species.
Well, and that's why I also think it's very important that we have someone to bounce things off of, and we have someone that can, like a therapist or a psychic medium. Speaking of a psychic medium and mentor, it's always good to have a mentor.
You guys, I'm not putting down work. I'm not putting down any of the work out there. I'm not putting down any of the work. Just want to say it.
Say it again?
I'm saying no. The practitioners out there who counsel people are brilliant, and I'm saying the systems that we've been given, like different systems, the Freudian system. We've had the all these systems, and it's like pick the system you want. You pick the one you want. You major in that. Well, then
I was just making a segue. I was taking that as a segue. I was taking that as a segue to go into a commercial.
Okay, let's do that.
Because we're 55 minutes.
Scott Cruz is popularly known for his life-changing one-on-one readings to also guide in your soul ascension journey. With life readings, get insight into your relationships, career, health, trauma healings, past life regressions, and more. Want to connect with a loved one who's transitioned? Scott's mediumship session can be the gateway to you and your loved ones in spirit bridging the gap between the physical and the spiritual realm. If you want to enhance your own psychic ability, Scott's Intuition Builder session can help expand your psychic and mediumship abilities. So sign on to scottcruzpm.com to book your own personal session today.
All right, come alive.
On you.
What's that?
As it's on you.
Oh, okay, gotcha. All right, so on me. Oh, we have some. Well, I think we're running out of time. What's our last point to talk about here is in the wrap up. Would you want to do any wrap up on masks? And our lives. I mean, we're pretty much done there, right?
I think we summarized it pretty well. I think kind of what we said before was really was a wrap up on it. So we kind of are ahead of the game on that.
In the end, I think there's a lot of unspoken truth, and I think it's because we don't see those sides of ourselves directly yet. But when we see those sides of ourselves, we'll start speaking that truth. I feel that's how I wrap that one up.
And we shouldn't fear the truth, because I hate the cliche. The truth hurts. It's like it only hurts if you choose lies. If you really want to know the truth, it will set you free. As cliche as that sounds, but we've got to start really understanding what that means. The truth setting us free, and that means we should crave the truth.
The truth hurts. The idea the truth hurts is that you're masking it was like avoiding the truth, because the truth did hurt, and so you're lying yourself.
Exactly.
All the time, yeah. But it does hurt. The truth does hurt, because honestly, anytime the truth has hurt me, I didn't realize it was truth until that moment. Like, oh shit, I really didn't notice. So that's what sucks is you try to notice and you still don't. Yeah,
sure.
But we're in that place. I mean, going forward for this week with the Sun in Scorpio, your emotional boundaries are everything, guys. And I just want to leave it with this, in the sense that the way you respond to yourself emotionally is how the future will evolve. So how you respond to your own hurt feelings, your own being pissed off, you respond to those feelings,
just happened?
And you will. I don't know. You're off the show now. Are we still live? Yeah. Now
just froze.
Oh, okay. That's weird. Yeah, this has been we have 3 minutes left. So long story short, I feel like in the 20s of Scorpio coming up this week is very important, because don't pay attention to the ideas and the thoughts that were right and wrong. Pay attention to how you feel. If you feel good in a situation, you're meant to stay in that situation. If you don't feel good, there's something definitely off. And I don't think it can be fixed. Not at this point. You got to move on, find what works. Things cannot be fixed anymore. Not at this stage where we are. Okay, what is going on? Has Morgan been attacked? Oh my God, so funny. I think we're on the air. Weird, guys. Well, at least you can see we're on the air. Yeah, we're on the air, buddy. Scott can't hear a thing. But guys, this is what we have. We've been having this weird kind of stuff happening before the show, so we apologize for being tardy and whatnot. But it's just kind of been some weird stuff like this. It's so funny. And I think
that froze.
Oh, you froze for you? Yeah, I was having weird stuff too. I think
it's freezing. Okay.
Yeah. There's some stuff going on. You said solar flares, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's true. I think things are going to be very wacky. And I think you just really, focus on, if you know something's going to go wacky, like the internet or whatever, if you just focus on yours not, it usually doesn't, because life pretty much follows your intentions. So this is a time where you have to be praying for things that are valuable to us, like the internet. So that's it for this week. Next week, let me see what we're picking up on real quick. Ending the Scorpio season with a bang and talking about sacred sexuality. Oh, that's right. It's going to be a luscious one next week, buddy.
Okay. Well, who better to know about that than me? So,
Are you
kidding.
an expert?
I'm kidding. Just kidding.
Well, yeah. I don't know.
I'll tell you something. I'm more about I'm probably the king of sensuality. Sensuality leads to sexuality. So we can get into that because I feel people miss the sensual components these days. You know?
My God, we're going to talk about it. Nobody is romantic or sentimental, or not that I'm seeing anywhere. I'm not seeing true like physical bonds with people.
It's like now, let's do it now. Let's get it done with now instead of like whatever happened to foreplay. But
even then, it's like there's like a cold. It seems like it's being held. It's being done coldly, and it's being left coldly. It's just like it doesn't. I don't see anything like warmth, like happening amongst people right now. Couples everywhere.
But as we said, it's soon to change. That's soon to change.
That's what I said. I think it's gonna be a change. So, anyways, folks, I will be on the air tomorrow, Friday with Namaste Today and Astro Mingle. It's gonna be good. We'll be making some changes soon. And come on down to SeriousStory.com. We're here to help you through this transition. I'm doing something called Mastering Self-Love on the site on Sundays, and we're gonna be talking about some coaching, practical tips on how to self-love. How do you do it? No one's told you. We're gonna do and have a little bit of a workbook over the next 4 months, preparing for whatever's coming around the corner. So y'all don't mess with time. If you see a shift show, lead out loud.
Lead out loud, guys. Good night.
Yeah, good night.
I have, now that I know it's retrograde, that explains my headache. My head is like heavy as hell.
Oh, mine is too. I'm in pain.
On my shoulder, I'm like, I feel like, pressure. So I'm taking off of my live show tomorrow. I'm just taking a week off.
Good for you.
Because I can.
Well, I am too.
Are you? Did you freeze again?
Oh,
your head went